Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and we're here today with Elmer Davis, who is the president and CEO of TBK Ventures, one of the most successful real estate investment companies in the Pittsburgh area. And Elmer's going to share with us some great ideas that we can use to be even more effective in the years ahead. Elmer, welcome. Thank you very much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me,
It's
Brian.
a real pleasure. Please tell our viewers a little bit more about what you do and how it's going.
Well, gladly. Really been exciting lately over the last few years. Making the transition. Our original business model was face-to-face meetings with business owners and individuals, but had an opportunity to retool that. Went up to Harvard for an advanced degree back in 2011, and really did a lot of planning and writing about my future in terms of
an advanced degree at Harvard. That's wonderful.
Yep, did it in operational management.
Good grief.
And I had an MBA prior to that, which had propelled my career for a couple of decades. But I just felt the need to stay current because I was facing more and more business problems in the small business arena.
Wow.
So did that work, did some writing, created some plans, and then I started to focus on writing as a way of moving our message forward.
Right.
Wrote a book with Tom Hopkins back in I guess a couple of years ago now, 2012, that really did well, called Victory.
Right.
And then followed that with a speech in Times Square with Steve Forbes at an event.
Right.
And a subsequent book with him called Successonomics, which is actually out now. Yeah, interesting. Steve Forbes actually has an honorary degree in economics and is very knowledgeable about the economic process and, of course, the role of media.
Well, yes, I know Steve. He's just written a book called Money, too. He's very, very smart about what's going on in our economy.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that actually was the point where I decided to expand our business model into education, books, materials, so that I could reach a larger audience.
Wow. You know, Warren Buffett was asked recently, what is the best investment a person can make in this market? And he said the best investment is back into yourself, becoming better at what you do.
Exactly
That's
correct.
exactly what you're doing.
Yep, and I actually followed him in 2012. He was on CNBC and talked about the impact of the real estate opportunity. He said he'd buy a couple 100,000 single-family homes right now if his fiduciary responsibilities would allow. And then he subsequently opened Berkshire Hathaway Realty.
It's a wonderful name, wonderful company.
Yes, yes. And
so how did you decide to get into this business?
Well, you know, it was from my own personal experience. I had worked with large corporations for 20 years. Felt like I was doing things right, had an MBA, and my career was progressing, but I tell you truthfully, the last thing you want is to be in a large company and yet meet with limited opportunities. When I looked at my retirement plan in detail, I found that I was no better off than the average person. I was no further ahead. My portfolio was getting diminishing returns, sometimes very marginal performance there, and I decided to self-direct. And once I made that decision and did the research and started to get better results myself, I knew that I should take that to the next level and help other people do the same thing.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about your mission, your vision, your passion for the future.
Certainly. Our mission statement is engineering profitability globally through neighborhood reinvestment.
Right, and what does that mean?
Well, essentially, it means that because of the changing landscape, the big dichotomy between wealth and people that are not wealthy, we have to use different tools to allow people everywhere to facilitate their growth and wealth. Wow. So what we do, we create a series of these tools, in fact, several ways in which you can use real estate, even real estate that you don't even own, to make a profit.
Wow.
And we use those vehicles, everything from assignments, dual closings, private placements. We can even facilitate and underwrite individuals through entities to receive mortgage payments in the first position. So there's a lot of things like that. Tax lien certificates, tax deeds, things that allow people to make a great rate of return that are really backed by real property and without even having to make the full investment of owning the property themselves, so really well leveraged.
Well, at Harvard they say that the key to success in business is unique added value. It's something that you bring to the table that nobody else can offer. What would you say would be your unique added value in your business?
Well, offhand, I would say our knowledge of the market that we're working in. I'm from Pittsburgh, born and raised. I still have the home that I lived in 1959. It's part of our portfolio right now.
Right.
We know the nuances of that market like no one else, and we allow people to participate in ways that they couldn't do independently, particularly if they're outside of the market. I'm talking about the unique attributes of Pittsburgh are well documented. It is for years, it's the most resilient market nationally. It's in the top 5 in the world in terms of market resiliency. It's also the most livable city in the United States, 11 straight years.
Yes,
and the thing
I read that.
Yeah, the other thing is that people in Pittsburgh rent. So
Right.
51% of the people that live there rent. So if your strategy is to build a rental portfolio, no other better place to do that. Also, there's a typical 3% appreciation that's been very consistent, and the labor costs are very, very inexpensive compared to other markets, throughout the country.
Well, now, if I were to come to you with an amount of money to invest, what would be the product that you would put me into?
Well, it would depend not just on the amount of the investment, but really on the objectives of the individual and where they are in their current strategy,
Well,
whatever they're
security,
executing. Sure.
growth,
Okay.
ultimate financial independence.
All right, so we would look at creating a passive and portfolio income for you with a diverse series of instruments that are real estate based. So to be secured by real property, you'd end up, let's just say, with 20 to 25 rental units that we manage, property management, everything's turnkey,
Right.
and you'd have them without mortgage payments. So usually that's about a 5-year plan, results in about $20,000 a month of residual income.
Wow.
And you got residual bills, so why not have ongoing passive portfolio income to handle that?
Wow. Now, you've had a lot of great experiences with your clients and customers. Tell us a story that you're particularly happy about or proud about of one of your clients who came to you and may have been unhappy or dissatisfied, and today they're in great shape.
Sure. I tell you, there's a gentleman comes to mind that I've grown very close to. Our business is really more of a family business. And this fellow, Herb Green, that lives in Rockville, Maryland, he is iconic in terms of our client profile. He started with us because he was dissatisfied with the earnings that was in his retirement account.
Right.
And he said, he'd been investing before meeting me, he'd been investing in restaurants and things like that. And he said, look, if I can get a similar rate of return to what I'm getting in this restaurant group in DC, I'd be happy to move these underperforming assets to your organization. So not only did he do that, but he ultimately ended up working with us on a joint venture to represent our ideas in seminars. And he's built a client base. He gets an equity split on those earnings, which pay down his mortgage payments even faster in his portfolio.
Wow.
So that's our ideal business model. We are taking a person almost like an incubator. If the person is a renter, we show them how to become a homeowner. If they're a homeowner, we show them how to develop a portfolio. If they're a business owner, we show them how to diversify and fund these business operations.
Wow, that's incredible. So how can people reach you if they want to learn more and take advantage of your services?
Sure. My direct phone number is area code 412
Right.
370-5643.
Yes.
And I try to answer calls quickly and return every message. My website is www.elmerdavisjr.net.
ElmerDavisJr.net. Thank you very much, Elmer. It's been a great pleasure
Hey,
talking to you.
Thank you, Brian.